So today, grade 5, we're gonna start revising chapter 9, lesson 1. Okay, it's a new nation. We took that lesson before, but I'm gonna repeat the lesson for you. Okay, this is a chance for you to easily يعني, study the lesson again, because you know that next week is a week of revision and project. Okay, so this week for just يعني revising the lessons of all chapter 9, all the lessons of chapter 9, and then next week we're gonna take the revision. Okay, so concentrate with me, please, and if you have any question about any part you don't understand, this is a chance for you to ask again, or to يعني, understand the points that you didn't understand before. Okay, the first lesson we have today is a new nation. Okay, so what we're gonna talk about in this lesson, you know that America ended its war, or the Revolutionary War, with Britain. Okay, so now all the Americans are free. When you got your freedom, habibi, you start any country got its freedom, it started to write the constitution or the laws of the country. Okay, now America is free. No one settle in America. No Britain again. No British citizen live in America nowadays. So now America, after it got its freedom, all of the leaders or all of the American leaders started to write the constitution. What the meaning of constitution? Constitution means the law. Constitution means the law or the rules of America. Okay. Okay. What did they write? The Americans wanted a central government in that time. Okay. And here is just 1 minute. Yes. And here is we find that the Congress in that time, it was called the Continental Congress. They created a plan for making a national government. Okay, so after America got its freedom, now all the states, they wanted a central government. Okay, they need a government for America. That's why the Congress created a plan for a national government. This plan was called the Articles of Confederation. Okay, so the Articles of Confederation, it was the first constitution or law for the Americans after America won the Revolutionary War. Okay, but the Articles of Confederation, I told you, this was the first plan, this was the first constitution for America. Okay, the Articles of Confederation, it created a national government, but with a different type or with different laws that not all the states accepted in that time. Or or the Articles of Confederation, يعني generally created a weak government, a weak national government. How? The Articles of Confederation in that time gave the Congress some powers, okay, and give the states other powers. What are the powers of the Congress in that time? Let's see this table to easily understand how the Articles of Confederation works. Here is the Congress, for example, could declare war and peace. Okay. Number two, they could, or it could, deal with other nations. Number three, it could print and borrow money. Number four, it could organize new territories, means new lands. Okay, means declare new states, for example. So this is what the Congress is responsible for according to the Articles of Confederation. Okay, but what about the things that the Congress couldn't do? Number one, the Congress couldn't regulate trade, means control trade. Okay, so any state could trade any goods up to this state. The Congress, for example, couldn't set up an army. Okay, so it could declare the war, but it couldn't set up an army or organize the army or give the army orders. Okay. Number three, it couldn't raise money with taxes. It means that it couldn't tax people. For example, if the country or if America wanted to build something, wanted to establish new school, new hospital, new roads, wanted, for example, to pay its debts, so the Congress couldn't tax people or collect taxes from people. Okay. Number four, the Congress couldn't force the states to obey its laws. It means that each state has its own laws, and each state laws are different than the other. Okay. So now the Articles of Confederation were not succeeded in that time, okay, or were not successful in that time, okay. So again, guys, now America ended the war with Britain, okay? And then the Americans, or especially the Congress, started to write its first constitution. The first constitution the Americans wrote was called the Articles of Confederation. These Articles of Confederation give the Congress some powers and they take from the Congress some other powers, okay? So let's see here. This is the Northwest Territory. Here is it speaks about a piece of land in America and how the American will يعني divide this land according to two laws. Okay, law here is, guys, means ordinance. Ordinance means a law. So the Congress created two laws concerning this territory. The first one was called the Land Ordinance of 1785, and it explained how the new land would be measured, divided, and sold. Okay, so the new lands that the Americans got after the war, so there was a law in Articles of Confederation concerning to measuring the land and dividing the lands between citizens. Okay. The second law was called the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Okay. This law explained that the government of the Northwest Territory, okay, and this law described how a territory could become a state, okay. It also made slavery against the law. So here is, yes, I'm good. You raise your hand. I'm good.
Miss this green thing,
What?
like this area, this.
Yeah, like this area, how they divide the lands, okay, and to whom they will sell these lands. These lands, يعني they could sell to Americans or to the American Indians or to other nationalities, immigrant to the United States, okay. So here is in Articles of Confederation, they created two ordinance or two laws. One of them Ordinance of 1785 and the other the Ordinance of 1787. Okay, this is including in the Articles of Confederation. After that, guys, they find some problems. Okay, the Articles of Confederation created. How? Number one, okay, they discovered that the money value, okay, the money value is different in the states of America. For example, if you remember, with $1, you can buy a can. Pepsi can, for example, in New Jersey, but you couldn't buy Pepsi can with $1 in New York. Okay, so it's different. In Massachusetts, with $1, you can buy you can buy, for example, a bag, but with $1 you couldn't buy a bag in Washington, D.C. So this is the different money value. Okay, so each state put a different money value. Okay, and this is a this is a big problem. So this is the first problem that the Americans faced. The second problem is that the Congress, okay, couldn't collect taxes from people, okay? So America wanted to pay the debts after the war, but the Congress couldn't collect taxes from the Americans. So how they could pay the debts? Okay, so this is the second problem the Americans faced because of the Articles of Confederation. Problem number three. Problem number 3 is Shia's rebellion. You know that I told you that each state has its own laws. There were not common laws for all the American states. No, each state has its own laws. That's why in Massachusetts, for example, we found that the farmers, they had to pay taxes to Massachusetts governor. Okay, and here is because some farmers couldn't buy the taxes for the governor, they will go to jail. They will go to jail. That's why there was a farmer. His name is Daniel Shais. Daniel Shais and 1,100 farmers, they made a protest. They made what? A protest against Massachusetts governor. Okay? All of these problems led to huh, the decline of Articles of Confederation. Okay? It shows that the national government that Articles of Confederation created is a very weak government, is a very weak government. That's why all the representatives of the Congress, they gathered again. Why they gathered again? They gathered to change the Articles of Confederation. Okay, so now we have three problems in America. What are these problems? Number one, different money value. Number one, different money value. Number two, the Congress couldn't tax people. The Congress was not allowed to tax people to pay America's debts. Number three, Shia's rebellion. Shia's rebellion, that the farmers in Massachusetts had to pay taxes to the state or go to jail. Okay, so all of these problems showed that the Articles of Confederation created a weak government, created a weak government. So all the representatives of the Congress or all the members of the Congress, they gathered again to change Articles of Confederation, okay? To change this law or to change this constitution, okay, of America. Because the Articles of Confederation was the first constitution in America after they ended the war with Britain. Okay, حبايبي? You understand what your lesson is about? It's very easy. It's about the Articles of Confederation, how the Article of Confederation make the Congress work, okay? And what are or what were the problems of the Articles of Confederation, okay? This is our lesson for today. Now, guys, I want to share with you some questions, okay? To check
Okay.
understanding how يعني you understand the lesson or not. Just 1 minute. Yes. Okay. Here is grade 5, of course, not grade 3. It's a mistake. Answer the following questions. Number 1, who know the answer, please raise your hand. Okay, حبايبي. What did Congress do to organize Northwest Territory? Huh? Tell me, حبايبي. Speak about Northwest Territory, how it was organized. How it was organized. Yes, Yasin السادات. Tell me, Yasin,
Yes,
how it was organized, حبيبي. Huh?
it was organized into ordinances or laws.
Yes. They passed the two ordinance or two laws. One ordinance or one law of
And
1785.
how they would divide,
Yes, and
how
the
would
other,
they
no,
divide
I don't want
themselves?
you to describe, listen, Yasin, I don't want you to describe the law. I just want you to say that the Congress passed two ordinance, okay? The Congress, I'm gonna write in
Okay,
blue color.
that's two ordinances.
Yes, the Congress passed
Two
two
ordinances.
ordinance. Okay, what are these? Huh? The land ordinance,
Um,
the land
how they were
ordinance
divided?
of 1785, 1785, and
And
the Northwest Ordinance, the North
in 1787.
Ordinance of
In 1787.
1787. Exactly. That's it, حبايبي. Okay. So you just say that we have two laws or two ordinances. Okay. The second question. What powers did Articles of Confederation give the Congress? Huh? Tell me what the Congress could do. Huh? The Congress could do what? Tell me the powers of the Congress. The Congress could do what? Yes, Yasin Dobel. Yasin Dobel.
Yes, miss.
Yes, you could answer this question.
What
Tell me
powers
what,
did the article?
yes, what are the powers of the Congress?
They could declare war pieces,
Yes, it could declare war and peace. Excellent. Declare
and
war.
they could make treaties, peace treaties,
Okay, make treaties.
um,
Treaties. Huh? What else?
and could print and borrow money.
Okay, print and borrow money. Print and borrow
Um,
money. Okay, that's it. It's enough. Okay. Yasin Yasin Duwaini.
yes, miss.
Yes, Habibi. Tell me, what powers did the Congress lack? Lack means here that what powers or what jobs did the Congress يعني don't have the power or it doesn't responsible for. The Congress couldn't do what?
The Congress can do
Huh? The Congress couldn't. Tell me what are the things that the Congress couldn't do according to the Articles of Confederation. The Congress couldn't do what? I just said it.
they can't do 1 second.
They can't what?
They
Can't set up an army, right? It can't set up
yes, they can't set up
an
army
army.
or
What else? The Congress
1 second.
couldn't control trade. Okay. Each state trade يعني up to itself يعني it couldn't control trade. Huh? The Congress couldn't what else? Tax people. Okay. So the Congress
Yes.
couldn't do three things: set up an army, control trade, or tax people. Okay.
Tax people.
Yes. Okay. So you, Yasin, again, because you didn't answer this question. Question number 4. What problem was the new government unable to resolve? Huh? Tell me, what are the problems of Articles of Confederation? Huh? There were some problems. Like what?
Miss, another question.
Yes.
Miss, this is for grade 3.
Yeah.
Is this class grade 3?
Who asked this question? Who are you? Yes, look, in the beginning of the session, I told you that it's a mistake that I write here grade 3, but it's grade 5. And as you can see, the content is about grade 5, right? These questions related to your lesson.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So you, Shlok, answered this question. What problems was the new government unable to resolve? What are the problems of the Articles of Confederation? Hmm? The government what?
The government, the problems were taxes and how to rule America.
What? Repeat again.
Don't remember, Miss.
I have just said it, حبايبي. What are the
You
problems?
needed to pay debts.
Yes, number one, the government couldn't tax people to pay debt. So the government, this is the first problem. Okay? The
Yes.
first problem is that the government couldn't tax people.
To pay the debts. The Congress didn't
Pay?
have enough money to pay the debts.
Yeah, to pay debt. Okay. What else? Huh? The government what? Or each state, the second problem that each state has different money value. Each state,
Yes.
yes, had different
Money.
And charitable.
money value. What else?
Charitable.
Yes, Shia's rebellion.
Miss, why is it named Chase?
Its name. It called the farmer who made the rebellion is called Daniel Shias. It's his name. That's why they named the rebellion or this protest with Shia's rebellion.
Chase.
Yes, with the name of the farmer. Okay. Okay, grade 5. The
like
next
green
question. What did Shias want? Shias wanted what?
The freedom.
Huh?
To not tax farmers.
Yeah, to not tax farmers. Excellent. Who are you?
Faisal.
Yes, to not tax farmers. Excellent. Okay. Because they didn't have, you know, that in that time the government يعني you pay taxes, and if the farmers didn't pay taxes, okay, they take their farms. So you pay the tax or we're gonna take your farm. And no, it's unfair, of course. Okay.
Yes, but
Okay.
didn't Jefferson want to support the farm?
What?
Jefferson wanted to support the farm.
Yeah, this is later on. This is the conflict between Jefferson and Hamilton, that Jefferson take the side of farmers. Okay, he see or he thought that, yes, he thought that America will got a strong economy if we have good farming. That's why he supported farmers. Okay, but
The
Hamilton,
government to take
yeah,
the
Hamilton,
farmers'
he
land.
thought something else. Hamilton thought that America will got a strong or will get a strong economy if we increase trading, not farming, trading. Okay. Number 6. What did Shia's rebellion show about the new government? Shia's rebellion show what was?
Miss, can I answer? I know the answer.
Yes, who are you? Yasin?
I'm Yasin Douani. I know
Yes,
the answer.
Yasin, say. Shia's rebellion showed that?
That they didn't want the government to tax them on the farm, and they wanted their debit.
Yeah, okay. You know that Shias now made rebellion or protest because the government wanted to tax them, or we're gonna take your farm. You pay taxes. If you don't have money to pay taxes, we're gonna take your farm. Okay, that's why Shias and 1,000 farmer made this rebellion.
They wanted
Shia's rebellion.
Yeah,
they
when
wanted
they
the
made
government to
Shia's
stop
rebellion, Habibi,
taking their
Yasin, understand the question. When he made this rebellion, okay, this show what? This showed what? That the government or the Articles of Confederation is what?
It was not fair.
Yeah, it was not fair and is weak. Weak government. The government who make unfair laws is weak government. Okay, now Articles of Confederation is very weak, is very unfair. Why? Because they made each state tax people. Okay. Now
Yes,
in
yes.
Massachusetts, yeah, in Massachusetts, they tax farmers, but in New York, for example, they didn't tax farmers. Okay, so there are differences between the states. Okay,
Yes, like
why
black and white
farmers?
people.
Yeah, why farmers in Massachusetts pay taxes, but farmers in New York they didn't pay taxes? Why? It's unfair. So this show that the Articles of Confederation is not working well.
Fair.
Yes, and is unfair, and they have weak government. So we're
Yes.
gonna say that it showed, yes,
It
that
showed weakness
yes, the weakness
In the article of
the weakness of the Congress.
of the government
of the government
and the articles
Unfairness.
of Confederation.
And that the article of consideration wasn't fair.
and
Yes.
the articles
Weren't fair.
of confederation.
Weren't fair.
Wasn't fair.
Yes,
Wasn't fair. Weren't fair.
exactly. Okay, the last question, guys. Why did farmers, okay, in Massachusetts protested
Because
again?
they had to pay taxes, or otherwise the government will take their lands.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Because they have to pay taxes, otherwise the government could take their
And
land.
give them time to pay their
Yeah.
debits.
Yes, exactly. Because they had to pay
To pay taxes,
taxes.
otherwise
Yes, otherwise the government
would take their lands.
would take their lands or their farms. Sorry, farms.
Their farming lands.
Yeah, excellent, excellent, حبايبي. Okay, so this was the lesson of new nation. This is chapter 9, lesson 1. Okay, so yes, okay. So I want you guys to revise again this lesson, okay? Because when we start, inshallah, revision next week, yani it will be easy for you because
This
it
what
will,
lesson is it again? Because you're
this
writing
one
a
is
book.
chapter 9, lesson 1.
9, lesson 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter 9, lesson 1, okay? Do you need any question about that lesson? Grade 5?
No.
No.
Okay, حبايبي. See you
No.
tomorrow,
No,
inshallah.
thank you.
Okay, bye.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.